Hello, Namaskar.
Namaste.
How are you, Vandana Di?
Good, good. So nice to be in conversation.
Since we have very less time in hand, I would like to ask the question right away. Um, I have seen, I'm one of your biggest fans. I have seen many of your choreographies, and I would like to ask you this question. When you are choreographing something, especially that which is based on the Naika Bhedas, on one of the Ashtanaikas, how is your approach, your pattern of choreography, your thought process different from the traditional techniques that you have learned from your gurus?
When you see any kind of dance practice, once learned, I think has to be reclaimed, re-understood, and replaced in your particular area of living, life, performance, and the audience, the kind of audience that you get. So yes, when we were doing a course, when we were learning from our gurus, they were teaching us traditional methods of choreography, which is very nice because that in that way you come to know how the tradition wants to look at the form. And with reference to the Naikas, most of them are classified according to situations in love. So the Naika is either in love with, the Naika is in love with the Nayaka. Uh, Maybe, you know, these are metaphors and this is the bhakta pining for the Lord. But nevertheless, the situations are always such that either she is waiting for him or she is anxious because he's not coming, or she has had a tiff with him, or she has been deceived by him. So you see these metaphors, in spite of being so beautiful and kind of trying to approach the spiritual, trying to approach a spiritual process in terms of a man-woman relationship. This was a little confusing for me when I was choreographing in a place which is not in Tamil Nadu, which is not in the, let's say, earlier times when the kings are ruling. So I had to place this particular art form in the 20th century in a place called Bengal, where people understand a different language and even the modern sensibility. So yes, I had to change. One thing is to, you know, just run away from the, to avoid the Naikas at all and to choose themes which are, you know, which look at the human being rather than a Naika.
A Naika.
Yeah, so there have been choreographies on Ganga, there have been choreographies on nature themes and such themes where you are an individual and not necessarily a woman. Gender is not ascribed to the dancer so firmly. So that is one way. That is what I have done in many places. And if at all you do have to approach a Naika, if you do have to choreograph a Naika, then I was, of course, faced with this problem of how to then represent. How do you show pangs? How do you show waiting? How do you show tiffs? So mostly, you know, in the choreographies involving Naikas, I think the script has to be reinterpreted so that it suits the modern sensibility. So very often you take situations which are not so much based on the tiffs of the Naika and the Nayaka. You don't really, or at least the ways of representing. For example, even if you have a tiff, the body language is different. And this is distinctly different from the way the gurus conceive it. There is a manner in which, because it's a visual art and because you are stylizing, of course, there will be a way in which you differentiate a woman and you differentiate a man. But these stereotypes, right? So if you show a man, you kind of have a broad chest. If there is a woman, you kind of have a softer chest.
Softer chest.
Everything is being challenged by the modern generation. Why should a man be represented with a broad chest? Why should a woman be represented with a chest which is, you know, not so broad and not so announced,
bold.
Not so bold? Yes. So what I feel is that firstly, you have to, touch the root. You have to convince the people that these are allegories and these are not men and women falling in love outside. So that's the way. Tell me, for instance, I remember in one of your choreographies, I think that was Devatmai, you were, where you have kind of focused on the woman, the Shakti, the female aspect, which itself is rare in Manipuri. Mostly, we relate Manipur to Radha.
Krishna.
Yes. So if you would like to talk about that a little.
Devatmai was launched in 2014, and I always wanted, I was much interested, very, very much interested in the position of women in the Meitei belief system, in the Manipuri belief system, because the ancient religion, the ancient Manipuri religion is a fine blend, a concoction of the Tantric cult, the Shaivite cult, worshipping souls and spirits, and which is known as animism, and Prakriti Puja, worshipping nature. So there we have innumerable, beautiful concept of Mother Goddess, and how they represent the various concepts: abundance, food, water, everything. Like you have Lakshmi, Kamala, Annapurna, Durga, Shakti. So we have Panthoibi, we have Imoinu, various mother goddesses. So that is how I compared and contrasted the various Meitei goddesses with that we have, with those which we have in our Vedic literature and mythologies. For example, when I showed Annapurna, on the other hand, it was, when I showed Kamala, on the other hand, it was Pawoibi. Pawoibi is the Meitei version of Annapurna.
Okay.
The goddess of food and paddy. Pau means paddy. Okay. Rice, the rice goddess. That is how they call. That is how it is. The exact translation. So, I wanted people to know more about how Shakti is dealt. The concept of Shiva and Shakti is dealt in Manipuri, in the archaic Manipuri religion, in the very Meitei way, because people always get to see more of Ras Leela, Radha Krishna. Yes. But Manipur has got much more than that. So, and our ancient religion, if you go to Manipur, especially during the time of Lai Harauma, which is a fertility cult, which happens in the time of this April, May, June, you will see that the priestesses there are the one who does the puja is a woman. It's a priestess, since it is based on the tantric cult. So I have also used some of the rituals which are there, the ritualistic dances and the rituals which are there in those religion, in that practice. And there were many, some of them criticized. They said that you should not choreograph a ritual, you should not show the rituals, you should not put them,
it's not meant for performance.
It's not meant for performance. It's not meant for the proscenium, rather. But I always thought that there is no such ritual which is so sacrosanct as that you cannot re-choreograph it, keeping the essence in mind, keeping the philosophy in mind. So that is how I have placed them. When I showed Kali, there was a portion of the Laitongba, means Jibhor Hoy, when the Maibis, they get into trance, they ring the bell, and the priestesses, they go into a trance and they give oracles. There was a piece of that, and I had used movements of Thangta. We have learned the basics of Thangta and other vigorous practices that are there in Manipuri, rather than the softer ones. I have even used the softer version of Manipuri when I showed Kamala, when I showed Annapurna, when I showed Pawoibi. But when I showed Kali and Durga wasn't there. In the end, there was this Abhishek of the goddess, that is as a goddess, and there was a dialogue that she is Devatmai, the one who resides in the souls of everyone. Devatmai, Attar Moddhe je সব দেবতার আত্মার মধ্যে যে বাস করে রেবাতা। হ্যাঁ, so that was it. And later on, of course, in Manipur, people also accepted the fact that this can also be, when I told them that when it is there in our archaic religion, why don't you, it is not, rather than just doing the Maibi Jagoi, the dances of the Maibi, the ritualistic dances of the Maibi, why don't you delve into those manuscripts and the rituals and the philosophies and modify them and make them suitable for a dance choreography? Why not, when we have it in it? And I, as a Manipuri dancer, feel that I have to strike a balance between Manipur and the rest of the world, because Manipur has got so much in it. I have to present it to the rest of the world. It is beyond Radha and Krishna, just Radha and Krishna.
I also feel, Bimba, that it is about, you know, information versus rasa. Like, on the one hand, you could give them information about there and what they don't know. The question, the larger question for me is that after this information is given, are they really enjoying it? Are they, do they vibe with this? Do they feel a joy in relating to this? Or does it remain at the level of information? Is the larger question that has, you know, that is really to be addressed, I feel.
That is applicable in case of all the forms that we are doing.
Absolutely.
Whether it is women, anything neutral, anything. So when people in the end, when they said that, oh, we never knew that tantric cult is so strong in Manipur, I said, সেটা তো আছেই, but in the end, তুমি এটা আমাকে বলো, whether you liked it or not.
You relate, whether you relate to the themes.
Yes, whether it is tantric or shaivite, সেটা তো পরের কথা. Whether you relate to it, whether you liked it or not, আর সেটা তোমার কি রকম লেগেছে, মানে এটাই, that was the সেটাই I think should be the motive of a dancer, to arouse.
Yes, but still, you know, I feel liked it or not is performer dependent. But relate to the idea,
whether you relate,
whether you resonate with the idea,
whether you resonate with the
beyond,
idea, because
beyond the performer is what my concern is. This is really interesting.
Thank you so much, Vandana Abi, for being with me.
Thank you very much. It's been nice.